Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Weather and Radar Meteorologist Becca Parker. Come on in, come on in. I put a couple of pieces of information in the chat. If you don't already have the Weather and Radar app downloaded, it's completely free. Go ahead and download that. I put the link right in the chat there, or you can just look it up, Google it. Weather and Radar app, both for Android and for iOS. Completely free. You can follow along with the tools I'm going to be showing you here today. And you can even get our notifications for when we're going live. I've sent out a lot of notifications this morning, especially to those of you that have a lot of active weather happening here in the next 24 hours. And you also see a notification just below your daily forecast on your app right now, if you already have that. So thank you all so much again for joining me today. We are going to be going over the Thanksgiving holiday travel. It's the biggest travel week. I think a little bit more than 80 million people are expected to travel. That's the latest information. So you'll want to know, you already know there's going to be traffic both at the airport or on the roads. So you already want to know and be aware of the weather just so you can be a little step ahead. So you can be prepared for that as you go about your holiday travel. We're going to be doing these travel forecasts today, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I'll be here today and tomorrow, and my colleague James West will be here on Wednesday giving you that last holiday forecast before we get to the actual Thanksgiving holiday. That's the busiest travel day too, so tune in if you are going to be traveling that day. And we'll be getting you all the latest weather information here completely for free. So just a couple things. We're going to be going over a lot on here on the live. So if you know anybody who's traveling anytime really during this week, send them the link. We'll be able to give them the information they need. It'll be saved here right on our YouTube page as well. So you'll be able to get all the information you need and go back to it if you need a recap. Otherwise, we'll be sending out a lot of information too as far as weather. So different ways you can get all the latest weather information here, but we're going to run it down for you here on our live forecast. If you have any questions, please tune into the chat. I'll be checking it throughout the live today so you can get the latest information. If you got a specific place you're going to and you want to know about it, I'm happy to look that up for you just while we're taking a look at for the next 24 hours in the US. So let's go ahead and dive into the forecast. Right here we have the weather radar just behind me. Well, you can see we got quite a bit of weather going on here across the west, into the Midwest, and some cloudiness extending all the way down into the lower Mississippi Valley. Let me go ahead and stop this here just so we can look at the current view. We will work our way from east to west just because many people have already hit the roads here. It's still pretty early in the west. So let's go ahead and get started. See a lot of cloudiness here on the weather radar. We've got clouds extending all the way down into the Dallas area around the I-30 down here into Texas. And even clouds starting to move into the east. But we got some more interesting weather going on here in the Midwest and in the upper Great Lakes. So we've got a low pressure system causing some little bit of bumpy travel here across the upper Midwest into the Great Lakes area. Those of you that were headed out this morning on your morning commute, maybe you're traveling as well. If you'll keep paying attention, I know. We've got some snow and rain, and even a mix of snow and rain here across Wisconsin. So what's exactly causing this? We have a low pressure system here up in Canada, and the cold front that is extending on its southern end is sweeping up a lot of moisture coming right out of the Gulf of Mexico and causing some rainfall, and then obviously a lot of snowfall here you're seeing in pink on the weather radar here in the upper Great Lakes. The darker the colors, whether it's blue or pink, the heavier the precipitation. So we're seeing a lot of heavy rainfall here happening across central Wisconsin. It's just changing over here across La Crosse, and we're seeing that heavy precipitation falling, even some mixed precipitation as well. So when you see those darker colors, you know there's going to be some heavier precipitation. Whether it's rain or snow, you know that travel is going to be a little bit more bumpy, whether you are flying or driving. So when you see that heavier precipitation, maybe this is a point in which you can kind of wait it out. If you have some time, take it slow, or just take your time on the road. Or obviously they'll tell you at the airport whether there's going to be delays when that kind of thing happens. So you want to pay attention to this heavy rain happening here across the area. Rain is extending here across Michigan into the northern portions of Michigan. Not exactly getting into the Detroit area. We got some scattered showers, but it is going to be moving from west to east throughout the day here as that whole storm system moves. So yeah, we're going to be seeing some heavy rainfall. So let's take a look at what this storm system looks like on the forecast as we go into today on the weather radars. This is starting around 2 p.m. Eastern time. So adjust here for your time zone, 1 p.m. here across the Midwest. So we have the rain and snow shifting to the east as the storm system does go. We have rain extending all the way down here along the cold front, all the way down to lower Mississippi Valley. And those clouds are going to start peaking, getting out of the Texas area here. So don't worry, the sun's going to be shining for the rest of the afternoon here across Texas, getting out of Oklahoma City as well, as the front does retreat to the east. So the rain showers are going to extend along the southern area here as the front does move closer and closer to the east coast. You can see those heavier snow showers here, though, are happening still here across the upper Midwest and upper Great Lakes. Green Bay, we're going to be getting into it later on today as those cold temperatures do move in. You're still right on the edge of that snow and rain line, but you're chilly. You're in the mid 30s there across Green Bay area. So if you're traveling here today across Wisconsin, especially getting into the northern portions, keep an eye out because you could see some changeovers to snow, to rain because of that front moving through. But yeah, we do see a lot of heavy rain here moving across the Midwest, getting to the Ohio Valley, lower Great Lakes area. So this is 5 p.m. This is your commute, or if you're heading out this evening, you're going to run into some rain showers if you are here across this area, getting into lower Tennessee Valley as well. Those of you who like to travel during the nighttime because there's probably less traffic, you're going to be running into this front. This is really going to be getting heavier and heavier as it does move east. Could be seeing a little bit of the thunder activity here down into the lower Mississippi Valley and the deep south here. The rainfall is going to become heavier as well as it taps into that moisture coming out of the Gulf of Mexico, and as the cold front does move through. Also, you can actually see where the cold front is here on the weather radar. I'll show you the temperature radar here in a moment. But these colder temperatures that we see behind here, that's that backside of the cold front. The front side, we've got the warmer temperatures. So we're going to be looking at some gusty winds. And the reason for that is because of the difference in those temperatures and the difference in pressure. When you have a vast difference in temperatures, a very tight gradient on that, we have some gusty winds happening. So let me go to what this afternoon looks like on the wind radar, where that cold front is. Yes, look at that. So we got some gusty winds happening here across the central portions of the U.S. Thanks to that storm system, up to 30 miles an hour here across actually much of the area, maybe get into the 40-mile-an-hour zone in some pockets, all the way down to the southern plains and into the upper Midwest up here, and even down to the deep south. This is just the mid this afternoon. This is right after lunchtime today. So let's take a look at how this is going to proceed to the east as the storm system continues. You see these gusty winds do start to diminish throughout the day, which is great. That's not adding to your headache that you're going to be if you're traveling today. So if you just have to worry about rain or maybe some snow here in the upper Midwest, awesome. The wind can add an extra issue, obviously. We've all driven in some gusty winds, and if you got rain on top of that, it just makes things a little bit more tricky on the roadways, especially if you're traveling by air as well. So let's take a look at what this looks like through the evening as the cold front does move east. Winds really pick up here across the Ohio Valley into the Great Lakes, but do diminish across the deep south here. So if you are traveling in the overnight, like I mentioned earlier, those people that tried to, travel in the overnight so they can miss traffic. I've done it before. It's just dark. There's just less traffic, but you could run into some weather. So you've got some gusty winds here happening too, in addition to that rainfall and snowfall here in the northern parts of that storm system. So something to look out for if you are going to be traveling here across that area. By tomorrow morning, this cold front is zipping towards the east coast. Those traveling along I-95 by tomorrow morning, let's skip ahead here a little bit. You can see where that cold front is just dragging all of this rainfall here across much of the eastern third. So we have a lot of heavy rainfall happening here, but if you are going to be in the interior northeast, you can see some mixed precipitation, rain, snow, even some ice. That's those orange colors happening right here on the weather radar. Getting into northern Vermont, Burlington area, you got some cooler temperatures happening up here, mid 30s, low 40s. These are the higher elevations too, so you can see that mixed bag happening here: snow, rain, possibly ice. Obviously, ice is going to add a little bit more of a tricky situation when it comes to your holiday travel over tomorrow morning if you're trying to hit the road early. So please be aware of that. Have your alerts switched on in the app so that you can get all the latest information through that and know when that's going to start. And you'll want to keep an eye on the weather radar as well to know exactly where that icing is happening here in the forecast. This is 6 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow, 8 a.m. right along I-95. I mean, tomorrow morning, if you're either going to work or hitting the roads, I-95 is going to be a little wet. All the way from New York down into Washington, Richmond area. But that front is just going to continue moving east throughout tomorrow morning. The snowfall does stay into the upper Midwest. But you see those colder temperatures here. Got 20s in Chicago, Indianapolis, upper 20s, teens happening here across the upper Midwest here, and then single digits happening in North Dakota. We'll get into that in a moment. So those of you that are traveling up here, be prepared to have an extra sweater, an extra big coat. It's going to stay cold through this week, and we're going to take a look at that here as we go through these travel updates for the rest of the next couple of days. Let me real quick just check for any questions. Awesome. Thank you guys. All right, let's head back to our forecast. So yeah, this cold front is going to continue through the eastern half here, just over the next 24 to 48 hours. So expect to see those showers, but we do have high pressure settling in behind it here across much of the eastern U.S. Great Lakes, you've still got some stuff happening here. You got some snowfall into the upper peninsula of Michigan, and also happening, and then also some Great Lakes rainfall happening here across the lower Great Lakes here. So something to keep an eye out for. The Northeast is going to get a little bit tricky tomorrow afternoon as well as this front continues, and you're getting into those colder temperatures. So really want to pay attention to the weather radar tomorrow, and we will have an update for you. I'll be here again at 11:30 Eastern time tomorrow morning, so you don't have to pay close attention right now. I'll be here. I'll get your forecast tomorrow morning as well if you're not traveling till tomorrow. All right, let's go ahead and move a little to the west. The west has been having big time weather here the past several days. They've been having multiple low pressure systems move in, atmospheric river events. So they're continuing with that today. We've got some heavy rainfall happening across California, all the way up into the Seattle metro area from this low pressure system atmospheric river event that's happening here. And some Sierra Nevada snow. I know you skiers like to see that, especially if you're planning on skiing for the holiday, coming up for the weekend as well. But just something you want to keep an eye out for. Any trucks that are moving over the passes, those of you that are moving over the mountains to travel, you really want to pay close attention here. There's going to be some possible issues with chain restrictions across the Sierra Nevada and getting up into the Cascades as well as you go further north into the northern Rockies. Pay close attention to those signage, that signage that's going to be out there by the authorities, so that you can have a less trickier travel time if you are paying close attention to that. But you'll get plenty of updates from our app. You'll have weather alerts on there, heavy rainfall alerts, so you'll get plenty of that as well. But in addition, have at least 3 ways to receive a weather warning. You don't want to be caught off guard, and you want to make sure you're not just relying on just one, just like your phone. You're not relying on just one device to get your information. So make sure you do have at least 3 ways to receive those weather warnings. NOAA Weather Radio is a great tool, so you can get those warnings immediately. So let's take a look at the forecast here for the West, because this is our other active weather area for today. Again, adjust for the time zone for West Coast. This is 2 p.m. Eastern. So what we're seeing here is just more heavy rain, more heavy snow happening here from Southern California, portions of Southern California. You're getting some showers here down around LA, into the mountains here, just after, right before lunchtime here. It's 11 o'clock Pacific time. But as you move further north across California into the Pacific Northwest, we got plenty of action going on here with heavy rain, heavy snow, and then moving also into Idaho. You're also getting some northern Rockies snowfall here. And you see those darker colors. We're going to have some heavy rain or heavy snow happening here. Plenty of moisture is coming in for this system. You can see here, we've got a lot of moisture we're working with coming out of the Pacific and just moving right into California here. So plenty of energy to work with for the storm system. So you're going to be seeing rain pretty much all day today. Let's take a look at what it looks like further into the forecast for this afternoon across the West. Whether you're hitting the roads or the sky, it's just going to continue. You can see it just moving right into California here. And we've got the low pressure system out here as well that's pushing moisture into the Pacific Northwest, and it's just going to keep moving east. So we're to continue seeing some active weather well through the evening, well through dinner time. And again, for those of you who like to travel during the nighttime so you can skip traffic, it's a little messy out here. So it's something you really want to pay close attention to. Honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of driving in snow during the nighttime or ice. So if you're like me, then you probably don't want to hit the roads tonight. Maybe give yourself some time if you do have that option. Obviously, the airlines will be able to give you that information as well, because they may or may not be able to take off because of that issue. So just pay close attention. Maybe give yourself some extra time for getting to the airport or just hitting the roads. So this continues to move into the Great Basin over this late evening. This is 7 p.m. Pacific time in the Northern Rockies. So it just continues. We got some icy action happening here. You can see those orange hues. It's even pretty dark. So again, darker the color, the heavier precipitation. So just west of Boise here. This is in southeastern Oregon. You could be seeing some icy action in addition to that rain and snowfall. So just a busy weather day when it comes to it. Just to, sum it all up, just busy weather day here across the West. This is going to continue over the next 24 hours. We're just going to see all that moisture coming right in from the Pacific, hitting California. Again, skiers, I know you're excited, or tubers. I'm a big tuber fan over here. But you're just going to be getting a lot of snowfall in the Sierra Nevada. Not fun driving through it. And there's probably going to be a lot of stoppages, unfortunately, just because of the heavy snowfall. So be aware. Give yourself extra time if you have the ability to. That's just going to help. This snowfall is going to continue moving into the Central Rockies overnight. Again, it's just moving across the Great Basin here into the Central Rockies, and this is just going to continue till tomorrow morning, right west of Denver. Denver, you're looking dry so far for tomorrow morning for your commute or if you're hitting the roads. However, you want to pay close attention to the weather radar if you're heading west. You're going to be hitting some heavy snow, even west and north here. You're going to be hitting some heavy snowfall. So really something to pay attention to. Some cloudy weather could be happening here across the Pacific Northwest tomorrow morning, scattered showers along the coast, even into the Seattle metro and down through Portland and Spokane. So you're going to be seeing some, mixed precipitation here across the area. So really pay close attention as we go through the next 24 hours if you're hitting those roads or the airport. All right, I mentioned earlier about the cold temperatures. Let's go over to the temperature radar before I will double check for any questions. Thank you guys. All right. Woo, temperature radar is chilly. Let's take a look at what's going on right now. It is chilly across the northern tier, getting down into the Rockies and the Mountain West here. However, gosh, North Dakota, you're bundled up this morning. You've got teens, you've got single digits here across Montana, and then down to 12 in Bismarck right now. So no wonder, because we've got a low pressure system in the upper atmosphere. We've got a low pressure trough that is just digging down, and that is pushing cold weather out of the Canadian prairies here. So that is pushing further and further down as the cold front I mentioned earlier shifts to the east. So we're going to be seeing some cold temperatures here happening over the next 24 hours. Highs today are going to barely touch 20 here across the northern tier. Minneapolis 28. So you're getting close to freezing. You're still under freezing. So those of you that have that are getting rain showers, you're going to want to pay close attention to making sure there's no icing around that area. So it's going to stay cold today, and that's going to continue east throughout the night and even dip down into Texas here. We're going to be getting some chilly weather here across the northern portions. Let's see what tomorrow looks like as that low pressure trough continues to dig further south. We've got some temperatures that are staying about what we're seeing today, a little bit warmer, 14 versus 12 over across Bismarck area in North Dakota. However, it's just still chilly. 34 in Chicago tomorrow around lunchtime, getting a little bit warmer throughout the day. However, that cold front really brought down some chilly temperatures here, extending into the Ohio Valley and then into the Northeast. So we're just going to be seeing a cooling throughout the rest of the week here across the northern tier. And we'll get into tomorrow. We'll take a look at what Tuesday and Wednesday look like as well. Alrighty, I do want to go over to just a quick turbulence check when it comes to those of you that are hitting the air. So you already know what the weather's going to be looking like. Let's take a look at what the turbulence forecast is for these areas. So any icing that's happening is probably going to be a little bit across the areas where we're seeing that, the cold weather happening here across the upper Midwest, possible icing happening here on the plains. However, your turbulence is going to be mainly in those stormy areas, especially across the Mountain West. It's going to be bumpy across the Sierra Nevada and the Northern Rockies. Obviously, going over mountains, there's going to be some bumpy weather anyway, bumpy turbulence anyway. However, you got that, you got plenty of active weather happening here that's just going to add to it. So just be aware that that could happen here across the mountain regions here in the West. And that'll happen over the next 24 hours as that storm system continues. So just pay close attention. Pay close attention to your schedules for the airport. I know you all will anyway. I'm that kind of person as well. So we can make sure that you get to your destination for the holiday this week. All right, I will be here tomorrow at 11:30 Eastern Time again for your holiday travel forecast. If you think of any questions, feel free to put them in the chat here today, and I'll check back in case there are any. But if you didn't get a chance to watch, or somebody didn't get a chance to watch, send them the link. This is going to be on our YouTube page. Let me pull it up right here just so you can see what that looks like. There we are. We have a Thanksgiving travel update playlist happening, so you can see today's, and then the next couple of days we're already scheduled for those live forecasts. So if you're not already subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, hit that bell to the notification for our live forecast. You can get all the information that you need right here. This is available on our app as well. You can watch it right in the app. So those of you that saw our forecast and saw it right on your app, just click it and you can go right to our holiday travel weather destination. And you can see all the information right there. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining me. Again, I'm Weather and Radar Meteorologist Becca Parker. I will see you here tomorrow at 11:30 Eastern Time, and stay safe on those travels.